Annyeonghaseyo, welcome to today's video. So, one of the first things you notice about Korean is that you don't speak the same way to everyone. Korean uses honorifics to show respect depending on who you're talking to. Before we dive into honorific grammar, it is important to understand speech levels. These are different ways of speaking depending on how formal or polite the conversation is. Casual speak, also called pamar, is used with close friends, siblings, or people younger than you. Polite speech, called 존댓말, is what you hear most often in daily life. It's appropriate when talking to strangers, coworkers, teachers, or anyone you don't know well. Finally, formal speech is commonly used in presentations, news broadcasts, customer service, and official announcements. Now, the most important honorific grammar point is the she. This is called the honorific marker, and it's added to the verb stem when the subject deserves respect. If the verb stem ends in a vowel, you simply add she. For example, the verb kada becomes kashida. If the verb stem ends in a consonant, you usually add a she. For example, the verb to sit, anta, becomes anjashida. A helpful way to think about it is that a she doesn't change the meaning of the verb, it only adds respect. Once you've added a she, you conjugate the verb just like you normally would. For example, kada becomes kashida. Then, kaseyo is the polite present tense, kashimida is the formal present tense. The same pattern works with many regular verbs. For example, anta becomes anjishida becomes anjiseyo. So don't think of ishi as a separate ending. It's simply part of the verb before you conjugate it. Not every verb follows the regular ishi pattern. Some of the most common verbs have completely different honorific forms. For example, going down the list here, ita becomes keshida, 죽다 becomes 돌아가시다, 먹다 becomes 드시다, 자다 to sleep becomes 주무시다, and 듣다 becomes 들으시다. These are random changes. They're fixed vocabulary that native speakers use every day. Because they're so common, it's worth memorizing them early. So when do you actually use honorifics? Generally, you use them when the subject is someone you want to show respect to. This includes teachers, parents, grandparents, bosses, customers, professors, and of course, older people. For example, if you're talking about your teacher going home, you'd say, 선생님께서 집에 가세요. Even though you're not speaking directly to your teacher, you're still showing respect because the subject of the sentence is your teacher. Now let's do a quick review. First, you determine who the subject of your sentence is. If the person deserves respect, you add a she, or you use one of the special honorific verbs. Then, you choose the appropriate speech level depending on who you're speaking to. Remember, honorific grammar respects the subject, speech level respects the listener. Understanding the difference makes Korean so much easier. Now let's see if you can apply what you've learned. Pause the video and try changing each verb into its honorific form. Think about whether the verb follows the regular ishi pattern or whether it has a special honorific form. Here's the answer key. If your answers match, great job. If not, don't worry. Honorific grammar takes time because you're learning both new vocab and grammar. I'm also learning as well, and thank you so much for watching.